Just read Matthew chapter 17. It's a very bad week for the apostles, because in the gospel we are already on Mount Tabor, but 6 days before, the apostles were in Caesarea Philippi, where there is a moment of glory, which is Jesus asking, "Who people say that I am?" And Peter saying, "You are the Messiah, you are the Son of God." And then the praise of Jesus toward Peter. So a moment of glory. And then a few minutes later, Jesus announces what is going to happen. Nothing about glory. He talks about being condemned, being offended and slapped and scourged, and then crucifixed, and then dead on a cross. Then he also adds about the resurrection, but you know, the head of the apostles is already stuffed, you know, with those ideas of Jesus being condemned and killed. And so they cannot take any more. And so they got all confused. And so Peter takes Jesus aside, and out of love, or what he thinks is love, he said, "This is not going to happen to you." And then that terrible answer, "Satan, you are Satan, because you don't think according to God, but you think according to man." So it's a bad week. It's a bad week for Peter above all, and for all the apostles that have to say goodbye to all the ideas of glory about the Messiah, or human glory about the Messiah. So we need to put the experience of Tabor in this context, a context of blindness, because the apostles cannot see anymore. Their vision, it's totally destroyed. And yes, you know, the gospel of today is very much about vision, about sight, about my eyes. And that's why we have this gospel here at the second Sunday of Lent. Because first of all, what you need, we still have 4 more weeks to go. If you want to walk, you need to see. You need to see according to God. And one of the most common problems is precisely that one, that we don't see properly. This week, I got mad. I got upset. Because, there was this lady, a lady, from Italy. And she started, I know her because she came, to our place, to our house in Italy. She was, a very respectful lady, She was a friend of the institute, of the congregation, a woman of faith. She came with her husband, So I knew her because I met her. I saw her 3-4 times, and then sometimes she sent greetings by message, And then she started, a couple of weeks ago, maybe more, because she found me on WhatsApp or something like that. So she started sending me messages. Always message of the same nature. Messages against Pope Francis. So Pope Francis is the Antichrist. Pope Francis is not the right Pope. The right Pope was Benedict XVI. All these things going on. When I receive, messages like that, I don't answer. So I didn't answer. Because I thought, it will stop, sooner or later. But she didn't. So she kept on sending and sending almost every day. And then this week, I couldn't take any more because it was every day. So at a certain point, I wrote something that corresponds in English. For charity's sake, that's enough. That's it. Okay. So I get upset. And I couldn't say anything more because certain things are so obvious that you see that it's useless to explain. Do I have to explain to people when there is the sun that there is the sun? No, you don't do that, When there is a train approaching, you don't have to cross the railway. I don't have to say that, unless you're a kid. But she was not a kid. So when I see that, I don't say, because I suppose that you may think about it. You may understand. Otherwise, it would be like an offense, to say what is obvious. So you say the true Pope is Benedict XVI. Okay, so if it is so, Benedict XVI, when he was alive, he was supposed to be the first not to respect Pope Francis. He was supposed to be the first. So if you say that the real Pope is Pope Benedict XVI, okay, follow him. Follow Benedict XVI. Who was respectful of Pope Francis all his life long. So why don't you do what your Pope is doing, at least, So can I explain this? No, it's offensive, So I started, now I connect this to the gospel of today. What is wrong? What is wrong? It's a problem in the vision. It's a problem in the eyes. And this was the first step. So he said, when you're blind, it's not useful, to make sign to a person because she's not seeing. So you need to find another channel. For weeks, we couldn't have a microphone for our deacon. Because our receiver was in the wrong channel. So I realized that this lady, she's in another channel. So that's why I cannot communicate with her. And then I realized another thing, that I was also in another channel. So if I wanted to communicate with her, I needed to switch to her channel. So I thought that I was looking right, but maybe also my vision needs to be changed. That's why I didn't say anything, because I was upset. So when I am upset, I know that I can say hurtful things, and I don't want that. Why am I saying hurtful things? Because I'm not in the right channel. I have to change my vision. So you see, the apostles, after Caesarea Philippi, they are in the wrong vision. And there is nothing that Jesus can say. Because after he announced that he's going to die, and that is the will of God, oh my God, the apostles are confused. So there is only one thing that can put the apostles in the right track, in the right channel, is the experience of the vision of God. That is the only thing that will make everything clear. The experience of the love of God, of the light of God. A light so strong, that after that, after that, Jesus can talk again about his death. And that time, coming back, coming down from the mountain, that time, Peter didn't say anything. He listened to Jesus and he started considering what was unacceptable before, a week before. What made it possible? The personal experience with God, with the light of God, with the love of God. That is what will open our eyes Not only the eyes of the person that you want to talk to, also your eyes needs to be open. So today, transfiguration is not anymore something that happens to Jesus, because Jesus is already transfigured. We know who he is. We know that he is the Son of God, and we are certain of it. But transfiguration still is needed in our eyes. So the question today is, do you have transfigured eyes? Are you looking at your problems, at your crosses, at your people, at your boss, at your enemy with transfigured eyes? Because if your eyes are not transfigured, you will just get mad, just like I get mad. And I will have no words, because my eyes were not transfigured. So this is the grace that we need to ask today, almost at the start, of Lenten season. Change my eyes, O Lord, so I can see in a different way. In fact, while they are prostrated, because they fell. At that light, they fell. So Jesus touches them and he says, rise. Rise your eyes. Don't look too much down where you are concentrated on your ways, on your things, on your problems, on your worldly things. Rise your eyes. Look at God, and through God, look at the things of this earth. That way you will have transfigured eyes.